Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike, and I'm glad you're here with me. I got this little mail call. It's going to be a quick and simple mail call, but this is a big one, and I wanted to share it with you. Plus, it's free advertisement to the guy who sent this to me. It's not really like an A-OK, but you could say it is because it is an act of kindness. But to go on without further details, I've already kind of opened it. I know exactly what it is. You know, it's from a writer, and I did a review back when his comic released, and you know, he watched every single one of the reviews that he did. It was a 4-issue series. I mean, I didn't reach out to him. He actually found me. It was at the time where I wasn't even tagging people. I hadn't even realized how to do that on Instagram or YouTube really. And this author actually, I guess, you know, searching for his book, came across my review, and he watched it, and he continually watched each episode and put forward, like, I remember the first the first review, he was kind of correcting me on the name, but in a you know, fun and friendly way, because it is a hard name to do. And this guy over here is horrible with names. I try and do stuff justice, especially because I do reviews. But my reviews are you know, I don't take certain things too critical, and the names being one of them. If you're watching my reviews, I'll call certain characters made up names because I can't remember their names. But back to this awesome person. But you know, he had reached out, like, I want to say the third time I did the review, and first off, shout out to Sithlordly on SpineTicks, because if it wasn't for him, I would have passed this book up. It wasn't that it deterred me. Honestly, I can tell you exactly what it was. One, I'd seen the Top Cow image, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't even know they were still doing Top Cow comics, and this is under Top Cow Productions. It was before I realized that Image had acquired Top Cow Productions, or they were doing a team-up, or whatever the story may be. It's not that I'm against Top Cow, because I do like the, you know, I think it's called The Darkness, and some of their titles, but I could say it's not something that at the time I was just looking for. We did SpineTicks, and you know, Sith brought it up. You know, he's telling me that it was like a Western type of tale, and hearing that it was a Western, I was like, oh man, you know, I love Westerns. That this guy's a secret Western fan. It's funny, growing up I was not. But as I'm getting older, there's something in me, like especially John Wayne and that kind of stuff, but period pieces specifically, man. But so I ran back to the LCS. You know, at the time I had it readily available where I could go back to the LCS, and sure enough, they still had number 1. I think it was even before issue number 2 had dropped. I think it was that week, and it just sounded that good to me where I was like, man, let me go grab this. This sounds like right up my alley, and the descriptive words were like horror and Western, so I was kind of on board. So I ran back, got this, and it turns out that it was an Image-based Top Cow production book. And the book being Saint Mercy. It is written by Zuur Platten, and the art is Tulio Rojo. Again, I'm bad with names, so if I did mispronounce any of the names I mentioned during this video, you know, it's no disrespect ever. I try and get the you know, best. I try and do the best pronunciation I can. But this book was phenomenal. Not only did it turn out to be, you know, a great, one of those moments where I'm glad I ran back and picked up the book, because I enjoyed every single issue. It was even kind of scary, because imagining that it was only going to be a 4-issue series, and it was like, man, how is it going to end this epic tale? And it turned out to be like a 2-story, you know, type of story. I'm not going to go too much into the review. I do have a review up for every single issue, and I have like in a playlist where you can just click on each 4. Or the book is still readily available, and hey, that's why he sent me this, because this is the trade that just dropped this past week. He sent me the trade, and this is the collected issues of all 4 issues, and sent me this, and it kind of comes with like a Easter egg or a hint that we are getting more of Saint Mercy, because if you noticed over here, it does say Volume 1, and he was so cool enough to send me pictures to Volume 2, you know, stating that we are gonna get more of this story. It does, at the end of the book, it does leave off at a note you know, where it could end or it could continue on. I remember reading it and I was a little confused because I was kind of guaranteed it was going to be a closed off story. But getting to the end and seeing the pictures that were painted forward, I was like, yeah, there could be more, you know. So I mean, and the imagination on this book was one of the greatest parts of the book. But without getting too much further in it, I'm not going to do this a super long video. I mean, it's just one book that he sent me, and it's just a trade. It is widely available. It's not something that's like super secret. It's just a regular trade that he sent me. You know, it is going for, it says $16.99, and that's US. I'm not sure what, you know, around the world goes for. But there's some other things I want to point out, because maybe not even John knows, but like, I didn't know this to begin with, but John is a writer, and I want to say this is the first comic book he has written, but he's not unfamiliar to writing. And I pulled up his IMDb because I had researched him after, like, I think the first issue or second issue. I was kind of sold on this writer. I was like, yes, you know, I want to see if he had written anything else. And nothing really came up comic book wise, but other stuff did come up. And he has been, if you have been a video game player, he has done some wonderful games, and he's written a lot of them. Like, and I'm just going to mention a few that he has written. But some of these are personal favorites in my collection. You know, Chronicles of Riddick, Dark Athena, that came out on Xbox 360, and I think it was also, you know, released on PS3. Fear Effect, if you know Fear Effect, and Fear Effect was massive. He did the Constantine. It was on the Xbox original PlayStation 2 port. He did just the regular Chronicles of Riddick. He did the Jurassic Park Evolutions game, the first and the second series that dropped back in 2021, and the first one dropped in 2018, coinciding with the Jurassic World movies. So if you played those, I played both of them. Evolution was dope. But Fear Effect was great. But there's some other ones. We got Ghostbusters. It was the game that was released in 2009 for 360. I think just 360. It might have been the Xbox exclusive. I'm not positive on that. Don't quote me. It could have been PS3 too. But it says that he wrote the Ghostbuster game, and it was like it was like the greatest thing. It was like, if you have not played it and do like video games and like Ghostbusters, it was kind of like the only continuation we had from Ghostbusters 1 and 2 to a possibly 3. Let's see. He did Fear. A lot of people know Fear. I love. It says specifically he did Fear, but Fear 2. But you know, I mean, in my world, that's a big thing. I mean, I want to say comic books and video games and movies have been predominantly, you know, shows have been predominantly like my life right there. So finding out one of my favorite comic book writers also, you know, wrote a whole bunch of my favorite games along the path, like, yes. I mean, I spent a lot of times with a bunch of those games, and I got achievements to prove it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to say I'm an uber fan or nothing like that. Like I said, I just found the guy's name out after reading this book. So, you know, I mean, I did play his games and stuff like that, but, you know, I will state that you know, it's not enough to, I don't remember, you know, ever coming across like the people who wrote those games. And it's kind of sad to say. I do watch credits, but most time in games you kind of skip past it because you're looking for a post-credit scene. Okay, so back to the book. And yes, the trade, it collects the 1 through 4, but he did something cooler inside, and I asked him to do this, and I asked all the writers that have done this. This will be the third time a writer has sent me, fourth time, it'll be the fourth time a writer has sent me, you know, one of their books or something like that, and this will be the second time that someone has signed them for me. I ask all of them to, and it's not something like, hey, you need to sign it for me. It's just something I ask, and if they do or don't, you know, it's up to them. I don't plan to resell it, so I always ask, you know, personalize it for me, and, you know, guarantee I can't sell it or something like that. This is for my personal collection. I love this book. I love having this story in my PC. That's how much I love it. So, and he did personalize. I asked them all, but it says, you know, to Evil Mike's, thanks for your support, you know, best, and it's on, you know, and that's his signature right there. So I was like, hey, how dope is that, you know? The other writer that did, you know, sign for me was Ted Sikora, but I did get something from, Joe Aubrey and Derek Roberts. not Roberts, I'm bad with name guys, Peterson, from Space Bastards. And then the first writer that sent me something was, and I know I'm going to mispronounce his name, and I love that writer. He wrote so much of my horror stuff. But Massimo Rossi. But also HS Tech, man. I've actually gotten quite a few writers that have sent me stuff, but I've only gotten the two that have signed something. Not that it, but I mean it's personalized. You know what I'm saying? That to me it's kind of cool. Doing the reviews, and it's not anything like super professional. And the writer was like, "Hey, thanks, for doing this." And that's kind of why I'm doing this. Kind of extra added, push, go pick up this book, please. No, but seriously, please, if you're looking for a good story, it's horror, it's Western, it's a twofold story where it's a history piece as well, because it's about the Incans, and man, it's a dope story. But hey, there is a volume 2 coming out. Don't be one of those people that are like, oh, I missed out on St. Mercy, and after it gets really big, because it was definitely dope, and I had a couple people in my community that read the book and loved it. So I can't speak enough on that book. Like I said, I have the reviews out. The book, I'm pretty sure, is widely available. I looked it up on on eBay before I got on here. It's still something that's widely available. I wouldn't really do that. I wouldn't recommend you to go pick up something that's, for one, you can't pick up yourself, or it's just crazy expensive to pick up. No, but this is a widely available. I think you can get it in the digital format. I think you can get it still at your shops. I still have a couple extra copies of number 1. If you fail to find a number 1, reach out to me and I'll hook you up. But hey, this is my short little mail call. I do have another big mail call that's on its way. I've been waiting for it, but currently in Houston we are frozen over. It doesn't happen quite often, but when we do, we're not used to it, so it shuts the whole kind of city down. It's so much fun. But y'all have a great Sunday. There's a lot of YouTube out there to watch. I'm glad, I appreciate you for clicking on my little box and watching my little video, But please, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. The comments, that's my food, I won't eat unless you do comment down below. So please, please, please comment, not seriously, but, seriously. But I'll see y'all guys later. Yeah.